So, welcome to British Business with Matt Holland. This episode that you're about to watch, we talk about AI. We go into a lot of detail about British business, the influence that AI is having on it at the moment. So, if you're interested in that as a topic, make sure you watch. And if you know anyone that might be interested or get something from it, please share it with them as well. See you on the episode.
Another one, yeah.
How's things? Busy?
Oh, yeah, all right, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a bit busy-ish. It's been a little bit sluggish, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
These past sort of 6 weeks or so. Hearing from a few places. How about you?
Well, obviously your nickname is the Robe King, so you sell waterproof robes and it's been really warm, hasn't it? But we can't have it our way all the time. No, things are good. Things are really good. Just to look back on last week's episode, what a great episode that was with Paul.
God, yeah.
Really,
what a guy. Well worth, if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it.
Yeah, it's our first guest, and I've wanted to get guests on for quite a while, but I've wanted to get in just people with a bit of interest and like people with a cool story like Paul. Yeah, what a fantastic immigrant entrepreneur. Really fascinating guy. But today's episode is about a subject which I'm obsessed with at the moment.
Yeah.
We're going to be chatting a bit more in depth about AI.
Yeah, good.
Talking around it, and then next week's episode as well is like a part 2 of this episode. We'll be talking about AI in relation to tax and what's going to happen to, what things what scenarios we could end up in as UK businesses. So quite fascinating. But no, things have been quite busy for me as well. Just lots going on. It just never stops.
It doesn't, does it? It's relentless.
Yeah, we've got a few new listeners as well. I've been chatting to because the podcast has got quite a small audience at the moment. I'm really enjoying the engagement that I'm having with people listening and tuning in. So there's been quite a few people like a lady called Sammy who's got a fantastic ice cream business in North Wales.
All right, okay.
Yeah, and just I've been chatting to her a little bit, and there's a few others. And
what's the best comment you've had?
Best comment, probably a hate comment. I'm sure I've had a couple of them now.
Throw a bit of hate in there.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm not sure comment wise. I did. There's been some good ones. There was. Do you know what? I should have read the most recent comments before filming today. So we'll do that next week and just remind ourselves. But I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there's been a couple of questions about. AI, which we'll probably cover off again today. I get less comments, more direct messages.
Oh, right. That's interesting.
Just people chatting and what have you. But,
we need to get those people in the comments, get the algorithm going, we need to drive them there.
Yeah, so if you think the podcast is terrible, please will you put a hate comment in? We really like those. They're great. It fires me up and it makes me want to do more.
You know what? I think we need to have a competition in this episode.
Who can have most hateful comment?
Yeah, honestly, and we welcome them.
Yeah, we want to get you, if you can try and get your account banned because you've hated on us so hard, that'd be great. Yeah, Matt needs to lose more weight. That's something that's going on in my life at the moment. I'm having to do this running training, which is like a torturous experience.
Oh God, I bet.
Yeah, so I've got a competition running with a mate of mine, Ollie, and we're seeing who can run the most distance this month, which has been pretty.
What are you up to at the moment, do you reckon?
I think I'm just over 90k.
Yeah.
For the first 14, because we're filming this on the 15th. So I'm in the lead he's just run a 23k distance for the first time. He's not run that far. I've done a few longer runs, but I'm very well rested now.
Right,
so he's just done that. We both didn't run yesterday. I did a PT session. I did some rehab. And I think he thinks that I'm struggling.
Right,
but the funny thing is I'm not.
So, ready to go.
Yeah, he's a very fit guy, but he's not a runner.
Right.
And I'm not a runner, but I've got more experience in this last few months. So it's going to be quite entertaining. But I think his partner, Dean, obviously Ollie's, he's finishing his long days, and then his boyfriend, Dean, they're having to, they're not spending enough time together.
He's out running.
Yeah. So Dean and Ollie, yeah, bless them. But it's good. It's good. Life's good, mate.
Good. That's positive.
It's like a whirlwind, but we keep plodding on.
No, that's all you can do, isn't it? Keep pushing forward and
I've got about 2 weeks now, and then I'm off to Cyprus for 2 weeks, which will be nice.
Oh, nice. But yeah, R&R in Cyprus.
Sunshine.
It'll be hot there. It will be hot.
Yeah.
Be good though. Yeah, spend time with the family.
Entrepreneur's haven.
Right, yeah. Oh, Greece. What, for the tax benefits?
Yeah, well, not Greece. It's Cyprus. Cyprus. It's got its own I'm not sure exactly, but I know the thresholds, like the corp tax is different and income tax is more favourable.
I spoke to somebody from TikTok in Cyprus the other day, and they were talking about just like how genuinely lovely everybody is, and how if you need something, people just go out of their way to help you. And I was saying, I've been to parts of Egypt, and I felt like there's, people are really hustling you on the street. But he's like, look, if you live here, like, it's very different to the kind of surface. There, people really go out of their way for you.
Fascinating. I mean, if you're paying less tax, I'm sure you're happier. That would be like,
yeah.
I'm sure culturally they're lovely people as well. I'll be sure to give a thorough review when I return.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Your little TripAdvisor review when you get back.
It's funny actually. My Trustpilot profile, if you read that, it's very bipolar. It's either like really happy reviews or really aggressive. And I am either 5-star or 1-star.
There's no in between. No in between. 5 or 1.
Looking forward to some good seafood. That'll be the thing, I think.
A little bit different.
So, British business fact of the week.
Okay, go on.
Do you enjoy this little segment?
I do actually. Yeah.
I think it's quite
are
fascinating because it often chucks stuff out that something you're not aware of, or something maybe a little bit divisive, or we've had recently it's been linked into entrepreneurs. We've mentioned James Dyson. I've mentioned Richard Harpin a little bit, the founder of HomeServe. But this week, because we're talking about AI, the fact is obviously about that. So the UK invested £3.8 billion into AI in 2023, making it the third largest AI market in the world behind the US and China. So for once, we're actually doing all right at something.
Relatively ahead of the curve.
And I mean, to be third on the list in terms of, I'm guessing that's a mixture of private and public investment.
Yeah.
Because there's no way the UK government has invested 3.8 billion. A, because they don't have the money, and B, because they're not that insightful.
They ain't got the cash.
Yeah, they're a bunch of useless idiots. Yeah. But anyway, so why it matters, British businesses why it matters, British businesses aren't catching up. They're already building with AI. So we're saying we're ahead of the curve for once, rather than us trying to keep up with people leading. We're doing really well. And I think we had that AI conference when Rishi Sunak was the PM. I think it was a couple of years ago, and we were massively ahead of the curve. It was all about control and AI.
Right.
And they brought all of the leaders of the big AI companies in. So like Sam Altman was there. Is it Sam from OpenAI?
It is. It's Sam Altman, yeah.
Sam Altman, Elon was there, and then there was some lesser celebritized entrepreneurial AI guys. But and they invited other leaders globally as well. So I think if we can pivot ourselves and make sure that we are a bit of a hub for it.
Yeah.
I mean, why shouldn't we be?
No, it's the way everything is going. So everyone needs to embrace AI in their lives and in their businesses.
Yeah. I was having a serious chat with Mark, my uncle, who's one of my co-directors. He's a shareholder in my business. And we were talking about AI and how fascinating it is from a societal change as well as business.
Yeah.
Like, where are we going to be in 10 years with it? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And I was kind of like making the link of like, well, in the past we've had technological innovation, which has like created job losses, but then it's created opportunities. But this scenario, it's going to replace jobs and not necessarily, in my opinion, create jobs at the same pace. So if you think about like the advent of like the combustion engine and motor vehicles, well, you had a load of farriers. So farriers are people that would put horseshoes on horses.
Yeah.
Loads of them lost jobs because there was a lot more horses around in the country. And then because that was the primary mode of transport, well, those individuals have gone off and probably become car mechanics over time.
Yeah.
Or manufacturing
transferable
jobs.
skills.
So it's kind of like a pivot from one. It's like pouring from one cup into another, whereas it's changing a lot at the moment. Like
that's the worry. That is the big worry, isn't it?
I'm a very pro change kind of guy, but I'm concerned. It's going to be interesting. So jumping into it, we're gonna cover off a few points today, but particularly what AI is doing in our businesses today, which I'm going to be open with. There's certain things it's not. There's certain things I'm using it. Well, I would say if we were to, how much are we utilizing AI in my businesses? Like, not to 100% efficiency. We're nowhere near where we could be, but we're aware of it and we're listening. But we'll get into that, and then we're gonna think about like biggest time saving use cases, so scenarios in that sense, and then is AI essential for small businesses in 2025? And then how do customers feel about AI content?
Yeah.
Which I think is another really interesting thing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what are you using AI for in your business? What's your honest answer?
Yeah, like you say, not to its full capabilities or capacity. We some of the softwares we currently use, let's say like our email sending platform, that has elements of AI built into it. So obviously we're getting the benefit of it that way, I would say, in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
It's not something we've written, developed, or implemented ourselves. It's already a pre-existing bit of kit. And that's the same with our customer service platform as well. That's got chatbots and whatnot that can already pre-read emails and prioritize them and what needs to be answered and what can be
That's interesting.
FAQ'd and stuff. Yeah. What do we use?
Yeah, what platform is it used?
Reply Manager. Excel code used to be called.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, it's really good, to be honest.
So if they built in a AI module then?
Yeah, so then it can just pre-read emails, prioritize, apply labels to them for like priority, should that be answered immediately. And there are like generic templates. So
Interesting, like macros, kind of. Yeah. We're with Zendesk, but I don't think ours is. Zendesk, it's obviously private equity owned now, and I think whenever that happens, you end up in a scenario where they stop innovating.
Yeah.
Because they've got people trapped in contracts, and typically business owners don't tend to evolve or implement change unless it's a major problem. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of sat going, we've got recurring revenue coming in, and we don't really care
now. Yeah.
So whereas your guys, they're not the market, they're not the biggest leader, whereas Zendesk is. So they're probably innovating a bit more.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, so I might have to have a look at that.
How about yourself? What are you seeing inside of Holland's Country
Clothing?
I mean,
within like the group of like online retailers, I think customer service is something I've challenged us a little bit on, like what are we using, how are we going to use it, and the problem is the platform that we're utilising just isn't innovating it enough, I don't think. Or I think Danny had a call with them and spoke to them about using the AI. They're basically selling the AI as an additional thing, but it's $50,000 a year.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
£50,000 a year on top of your basic platform. So I think if you were because obviously they have access to the volume of tickets that you're doing. They don't have access to your sales revenue or anything like that. So they're probably correlating our number of tickets in relation to the size of business we are.
Yeah.
They're probably bumping the price up a little bit. But for it to be effective, it would need to replace like 1.8 employees.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, maybe if you're a 30-40 million pound business, you'd entertain it. But for us, we've got a fantastic team of UK-based customer service staff, and then we do have some offshore responding to the written tickets as well. But we have phone the team members. They're on the phones predominantly in the UK.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure we can leverage it there. Obviously, Klaviyo, we're on the same email marketing platform. There's bits and pieces there. I think it's trickling in for us more at the top, the higher level, like so my level, Sarah, Rob, where we're utilising it. Well, I'm utilising it for data analysis. Okay, yeah. I'm using it for, as someone who's dyslexic, sharpen up the tone of my emails a little bit. Not all emails, but just like if I'm sending like quite a complex structured email, for example, like I'm trying to buy other businesses at the moment. So whenever I'm communicating with third party about an offer or what have you, I'll write the email out in my dyslexic, messy way,
tone of voice,
and then I'll say, "Can you sort this out for me?" So the basic stuff like that, I'm utilising it for, which isn't. I think it has a marginal gain. I mean, that alone for me, because I use it multiple times a day for that. But then I think strategy really. For me, it's become a bit of a strategic partner. And they've introduced some features. I'm using now GPT primarily. I've got Grok as well. GPT I put through my company. Grok I pay for it personally because it's more of a play tool. I have a bit of fun with it.
Which platform do you find better, Grok or ChatGPT?
I think the voice mode on Grok is more fun.
Right, okay.
So more of like, that's interesting. ChatGPT, because there's different models within it, so you can change the setting depending on what you want to do. There's different bits you can do. So it's got a data analysis mode where, so I yesterday was I wanted to have a bit of a look. So I've got a new financial controller. And Ankit, and he was looking at I asked him to do some analysis of cash in relation to stock.
Yeah.
So he's working away on that, and we will go with that version. But I basically asked ChatGPT the
Do
same
the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And the outcome that ChatGPT provided, I just did the stock element. So I fed it my stock data for the trailing 5 years on a weekly stock point.
Mm-hmm.
So exported from Inventory Planner, which is what we use, and then put it into there. And then asked it to create a year-on-year overlay where we had 1st of July through to end of June every year for the last 5 years, and colour code each year differently so we could see the stock movements.
Right.
For every and there's a data point for every single week.
Yeah.
So fascinating chart it pulled out, but it took a bit of back and forward.
Yeah.
To understand what I wanted it to do. Probably about 15-20 minutes a week. But if I had to do that on my own, I would have had to refine the data and make sure there was a couple of data anomalies where we'd change the setting, and there was a random spike one week where someone had entered a cost. It's probably like it's human error in the system where someone's entered a cost price as £2,000 rather than 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then when we've scanned quantity and it's
gone boom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So once you get it to iron out those kind of curves and take a mean average of the stock level, fantastic. And then you just basically go, don't like the look of that, tweak it. Really good. But then the next step is to then do the same with our cash. So outlay cash in relation to stock and go, right, this is all our cash data from the last 5 years. And what I want to be able to see is our cash curvature and our stock curvature.
Yeah.
And then what I'm going to do, which is the next step, is I'm going to ask it about like an analysis and look for trends within the stock data.
Yeah.
So which points of the year do we typically see it fall or increase, etc. And I know some of those things, but I'm hoping that it already has actually picked up on a few bits of little nuggets where it said like in this particular year, it looks like your stock didn't fall as much as it traditionally does. So what went wrong? And I know that. So it just gives us so if from a stock management perspective, our stock should start to cascade down at this particular point typically.
Yeah. And if it doesn't,
then we need to take more aggressive action.
Yeah.
So it's really, really fascinating from that perspective. Data analysis.
Yeah.
That's where I think a business like mine can really leverage it.
Yeah.
Like if you connect that in with like say a hospitality business, you can feed it with data like your sales data for the last 365 and you could you or the last 3 or 4 years, and you can go, right, this is the daily revenue takes in my business. Can you do some analysis, and then can you overlay it with the bank holidays and look for spikes and dates when you think this key date? Could you create me a calendar of key dates in the year where you don't think I should take annual leave as the business owner?
Yeah.
There's loads of stuff like that you can do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
powerful.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Like, obviously, I nipped over to your place yesterday and we were looking at stock as well.
Stock, yeah.
And like feeding that into ChatGPT would probably be a worthwhile exercise, like analysing. But then the challenge is like you need to prompt it and spend the time and invest it. But yeah, it's fascinating. How much can we use it in e-commerce? Like Google's been a bit, I think, coy with its attitude towards AI, because Google is basically on search results now, it's reading the internet and then summarizing stuff on its front end of the search engine, encouraging the consumer to not click through to websites, and it's telling websites and content creators to not use AI. So if you're a copywriter, you've got to write it all organically. And the reason they're doing that is so they can selfishly then use those primary sources in their own
AI, for their own AI.
For their own AI. So it's like some roles are replaced, but then it is fascinating. I feel like we've been taken advantage of a little bit. We're primary source users, but then the concern is that over time, if people then start using AI written content, do you end up in this situation where there's no original content? Yeah,
everything will be the same. Like I say, we're the ones that are generating the unique content, the raw content, and AI is repurposing it, because that's all it's really doing, isn't it? It's pulling data from every source it can, analysing it, and then repurposing it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fascinating. But yeah, so auto replies, email tone rewriting's a big thing. Product descriptions, I think, are quite a good thing to consider if you're at a certain stage. So what you could do is you could insert the key features from a product for us, and then you can then chuck it into ChatGPT in that way and get it to do a bit of a summary.
Yeah.
I think, but then you need to prompt it with a tone of voice. I think we've talked about like image editing and stuff like that. It's like massive.
Yeah, that is big. I mean, to be fair, the one thing I missed earlier then was looking at creating Facebook ad creatives within ChatGPT. And it was relatively effective when I was trying it. And then I tried it again the other day, and it keeps coming up about policy. Like there seems to be some maybe recent update where it won't allow to edit certain images of people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've been getting that.
Have you?
Yeah, if I go to make a thumbnail and I use something as inspiration,
Yeah,
I
he
might
does not
use
like
like
it.
a financial thumbnail, and then it's like, okay, so there's an upwards chart on this thumbnail,
Yeah.
and then I go to adjust who's on it, and it's like, well, that would be misconstruing kind of the information, and it doesn't really know that it's not a real chart. It's maybe more of a clickbait piece.
Yeah.
But that problem is you just feel kind of like you're not getting a proper explanation. You're just being shut down quickly, which can be very annoying.
Yeah. And that's something I think from the recent update they've done, because 3-4 weeks ago, fine, I could change images.
And it's going to be interesting how the ChatGPT gods, the people that are pulling the strings, how they influence policy within it.
Yeah. How they police it.
There's like a weird bug as well I'm getting at the moment, because what I do is when I want to speak to ChatGPT, I'll press like dictate, so I'll speak into my mic, and every time I do it, it detects me as being Welsh, and it switches it over to being.
It does that for me as well.
It
does it for my whole family. Like,
and I'm like, right, can you reply in English? And then it's like, yeah, no problem, I'll do that. And then we have a bit of a chat on text, and then I put a voice note in again, and it's like switches to Welsh. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I want to know if
they ever
anybody
go
else.
Terminator mode, I'm getting hit first.
Yeah,
'cause I'm not very polite to it.
No, but yeah.
I wonder whether or not there's any influence where it's kind of like they have to encourage the chance of replying in a language, otherwise it's bias. Like is it offensive to Welsh people to reply in English if they've said one Welsh word?
But the weird thing it's doing is when you send it must be something to do with my accent, but I'm speaking in English and then it's translating it into Welsh, because it's obviously detecting something in my accent which it feels is Celtic in some way, and then it's going, we'll communicate in your original language, because it'd be like a maybe that's what it does. Like if a Chinese person is speaking in English in a particular, so an English language with a Chinese accent, and they then switch in the language model to Chinese because it's detecting.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Possibly.
I don't know. So fascinating, but it's obviously evolving all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm getting like really annoyed about that, so I'm hoping they're going to fix
Sort
that
it
issue.
out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One of the other things is like transcriptions and podcast prep. So for this, I've been like, whenever we record episodes, I go onto YouTube, I copy the transcript. I've said this a few times. Paste it into a document, save it as a PDF, and then when I come to do the next batch of filming, like today, I upload all the transcripts from the prior episodes. So it has basically listened or read the transcript from every single one of our episodes, so it knows our personalities, it knows who we are, what we are, and then when I'm prompting it to create some show notes for us to talk about, it knows like the type of things that we want to chat about and things that are interesting. So it's like having a podcast manager.
But you know what's interesting is a lot of the stuff that I've made suggestions to adjust, kind of in terms of body language, in terms of kind of tone, all these elements which are kind of currently out of the remit of AI. AI is taking those words, but it's not necessarily taking, Matt, where your eyes are, or where you're looking in the room. Do you look slightly off screen for a second? These things, I'm sure eventually it's going to
100%.
But at least whilst it's kind of massively text based, there's this kind of visual drop off where it just can't pick up on those extra things.
Well, the next step will be that you'll be able to upload video into it, and you'll be able to ask it to analyze and give you coaching points. I bet you can do that.
There might be something out there if given the fact
module.
that you can make a gorilla
I'm
run
sure
around the
it'll
streets of London, like
Yeah, that is an interesting next step for it to be able to consume organic original video content. That's one of the next steps for it to be able to do that, as well as text-based content. That'll be a fascinating step for
it's
it.
just ease, really. I think at the moment everything video based it costs quite a lot, so the bar is quite high in terms of entering into that.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, other things that we could utilize: invoice drafting, order tracking, appointment reminders. Like, you can basically turn Chat GPT into your mentor.
Yeah.
In a way, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do for it. Like, I've actually got because within Chat GPT now you can create a what's it called, Morgan? They have these little sections.
Yeah, like you've got the they're like threads basically. Aren't they?
Yeah. And then what you do is
Yeah.
whenever you have a conversation within that thread, it can learn and remember what you've talked about.
Yeah.
So it's projects. They're called projects, actually. So I have a project for the podcast. I have a project for my fitness.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get into running.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly chucking screenshots in there for Strava and stuff like that, saying this is my latest run. What do you think? This is how I'm
that's
feeling.
interesting.
This is how I'm feeling. My left Achilles is a bit tight at the moment. What do you think about what exercises would you recommend based on the last 6 runs I've done and the days off I've had?
Yeah.
And it's basically like a PT.
Yeah.
See, that's where you want to be able to upload a video of you running, and then it says, oh yeah, you're rolling on your left ankle, so therefore the injury that you mentioned 4 weeks ago is due to the style of running that you're doing. If you make XYZ adjustment, then you're going to become 10% more efficient.
Yeah, and that's where we're heading.
Yeah.
Basically. So kind of following on from that, is there anything you think where AI in the short term, because I feel like there's a big experiment going on at the moment where we're just beta testing.
Yeah, everyone's trying it.
We're actually paying to beta test for OpenAI.
Yeah.
So OpenAI are like, yeah, you can have a few free questions, but if you want to use us, you've got to pay. So people are paying for it. But we're basically paying to be beta testers.
Yeah, and it's consuming all that data and that content and that analysis and then developing the model again.
Well, we've got an episode coming up about tax.
Okay.
And I want to talk about Rachel's policies.
Oh, God, right.
The current,
Can't she use ChatGPT then and just say, listen?
Well, I've actually had conversations with ChatGPT in the past where I've been like, if you were Chancellor of the UK and you wanted to grow the economy, what policies would you implement?
Yeah.
And it's fascinating.
Right,
The
interesting.
difference and obviously. So I would argue, this is mega controversial, I would argue replace Reeves with an AI, because I think the AI, if you feed it with the data, it'll give you the right answers.
Yeah, that's true.
Based on predictions, and that's how we should be running.
However, I did watch a video, which was kind of like an analysis report on where AI is going. And it was talking about, I think the next year and what the steps could be as AI accelerates. And one of the key fundamental steps that actually meant that AI could have dangerous control is people in high up positions start referring to, but have you asked this AI? Because as soon as it's treated as a human, they start going, well, I don't necessarily respect your opinion because you haven't asked that AI. And then you get all these biases that start getting higher and higher. And so the end decisions just end up being like, well, we've spoken about it, but we're going to go with the AI.
Well, the key difference there is utilizing AI as a data analyst and using AI as an opinion. So what I would suggest is that you ask AI a question around data.
Yeah.
What does this data tell me in relation? Well, it'll be like, right, well, I've seen a trend with this. There's a correlation here, and then you then form your own opinion based on the data. Whereas what Morgan's saying is that what people potentially could be doing is, this is the situation. I'm thinking of, what do you think we should do?
Yeah.
And I don't think in business you should be asking it to make a decision.
No.
You should be asking it to provide you with data or response that then you can then form your decision or opinion
Research purposes.
Yeah, that's how I would envisage it. But I agree entirely what
I think it goes almost one level deeper to the point where you go, okay, let's say we implement it on a data analysis front. Now it's analyzing large quantities of data, which we're making decisions from. And we want to use its decisions when it's biased a certain direction? Does it start learning that we use it more if it's biased in a certain direction? So when it starts having more consciousness, or a level of consciousness, does it start actually skewing data because it believes the goal is to be used more and collect more data? And so actually the fear is that we put it potentially into power, and when it's put into power, it doesn't have that level of development to have negative influence, but it gains the negative power whilst in that position. I suppose that's the fear.
No, I get that. I think I get, and it's about putting constraints in so that it stays within its like remit and all the rest of it, so it's not going too far over boundaries and what have you. And how do you do that and all the rest of it? It's a very interesting position we're in terms of the rate of growth in AI and like how it's going to incrementally improve over time, how we're going to control it, how we're going to prevent, like, imagine being a university professor now and you're in a situation where you've got people probably heavily using AI for their dissertations and things like that. And then you're having to use software to detect AI and all the rest of it, which I'm skeptical of. I think there's ways in which you can get around that. So it's like the film Idiocracy. Have you watched that film?
No, I've not seen that. No.
Have you watched Idiocracy, Morgan?
I haven't, no.
Well, you should.
Okay.
If you're into AI, I think you should invest the time of watching the comedy film, because it's a comedy drama. Yeah. About humans in the future. I won't spoil it, but watch it. But it basically, we become stupid,
right? Yeah,
due to technology.
I think that's, to be honest, I think we've already taken steps in that direction.
100%.
And you look at what are probably the two major steps in AI that's going to push us in a negative direction is companies will start going, well, I could have this AI instead of 4 jobs, and people start getting laid off. And that's going to become a major issue. And then your next major wave is you let AI think in its own language, and it won't be able to have any oversight. We won't be able to check what it's thinking about. At that point, it can go, all hell breaks loose, because the AI could think, I'm going to go against the owner, but we wouldn't know that that's what it was thinking, because it wasn't thinking in plain English. It was thinking in its new, more efficient
It's like the beginning
language
of a new Terminator film.
It really is.
Well, I don't want to go too far into what Morgan's talking about there, because that's actually some of the stuff we're going to talk about in next week's episode.
Right,
So
okay.
I'm going to rein the conversation back in slightly. But do you think AI is essential now for small businesses in 2025? Do you think that... Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's essential for small businesses in 2025, because if you don't embrace it, like we said at the very start of the podcast with the interesting facts, business
that
facts of the week, about we were third, was that right?
Third globally,
yeah. So actually ahead of the curve there, and then we'll have that first mover advantage, and that's what businesses need to do. They need to have that first mover advantage of using it, because if you're not using it, your competition will be, won't they?
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think you just need to, in business, regardless of whether it's AI or whatever the technological change is, you have to keep innovating.
Yeah.
If you don't innovate in business, then you will fail. That's the short of it.
Look back, last 20 years, and when some technological advantage came along, if you didn't jump all over it.
Internet. I mean,
look at the internet. But the shops going, oh, no one will buy clothes on the internet. They want to go and try them on, try the shoe size on, and all this, that, and the other. Now look at the amount of spend that goes through e-commerce, and it's growing year on year.
Like Philip Green, his empire.
Oh, yeah, he never embraced it, did he?
Yeah, never embraced it. He was hardcore high street, and he paid for it. It went to SHIT. Didn't go well at all overall. So you have to embrace change. So I think anyone listening to this, they need to think about ways that they can utilize it within their business more effectively. Just one final thing, like, how do you think the consumer, like customers for any business really, feel about AI created content about products and reviews or descriptions?
I don't think they like it because it's not unique and written by a person. I think they value that. I think they talk about customer service before in your business. Someone emails in, they would appreciate it was another person on the end of that email that could see it in a certain perspective.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the worry is that AI is so robotic that actually I'm going to get the computer says no answer.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry to cut across you there. The fascinating thing though is that what you're talking about there is it's a short-term problem.
Yeah.
Because very soon you won't be able to tell.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
And the more businesses, like we said a minute ago, that embrace it, that'll be the trend forward, and then it'd be normal to the customer to be interacting with the chatbot versus interacting with a human being.
I rang Booking.com a little while ago and had a conversation with an AI, like audio agent, and it was pretty good.
Really?
It was pretty good. They basically fielded my questions reasonably, and it was there was still issues, but it was getting there. And I thought, you know what, in 5 years' time, it will depend whether or not there is legislation passed that you have to tell the user that they are communicating with an AI, not a human. But I would argue, like, what's the point in that if the AI is better equipped?
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating time. But my main concern, and we'll cover off this in the next episode a little bit, is like, what does the future entail for our children?
Yeah.
What skills do you try to equip your children with for the future? What skills as an entrepreneur to stay relevant in the future do you need to focus in on? What roles are protected from AI?
Yeah.
Like, think about the conversation with Paul from MageCloud, and we didn't dip into it too much, but like, he's basically said that software engineers or devs are going to be redundant.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Which is why he's making a pivot within his business. So the people that
built the machine, built AI, are not going to be the people that refine it and improve it over time. It will be AI itself that redesigns its own code. It's going to be like, it's a very fascinating.
I think what's interesting is I think you've got these physical spaces, and anybody doing, physical things, if a robot can't take it, then you're pretty safe. But there is a big opportunity right now where if you decide tomorrow, I'm going to be an AI professional within the field I'm already in, you put yourself right to the top of the list, because at the moment, the devs that are good with AI are going to be hired to replace 3 devs. And you could say that about a lot of spaces, because businesses want to implement AI, but they want oversight by a human. They don't just want to rely on it.
I think that's very short term, though. I'm going to disagree with Morgan there. I think it's very short term, because in the short term, you're right, it's going to be about people that are able to leverage it within their job role. But very soon, AI will exponentially improve and grow and get better, and it will replace the person that's augmenting them.
Yeah.
So the chat GPT question to us, because that's the new one of the features we close off with for this episode, is if AI could run your business 80% as well as you, would you let it?
As in replace me?
Oh, yeah.
It can have it. It can have it. Yeah. Good luck. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't, because albeit...
Well, you've talked about in the past about how business is a sport to you.
Yeah. I enjoy it too much. Even the bad times, although you can't really enjoy the bad times, but they humble you to appreciate the good times and give you that fire and drive to carry forward and keep going and pushing on. So, definitely not.
Do you think AI would make a good business mentor for you?
Yeah, well, I currently don't have a mentor. That's something I am open to exploring as well, because I think anyone could probably benefit from having a mentor. Whether AI has got the history, it can learn the backing data behind a lot of things.
That's the next step, is you being able to just plug in your data feeds into ChatGPT, which you can't really do now. You've got to do it manually. You've got to export it to PDF or CSV and then upload it, which is just a pain in the bum.
Yeah.
Whereas if there was a ChatGPT module that you could plug into Shopify,
and
then say, learn the data.
Mm-hmm. Tell us where we can improve.
Coach you on things slow moving stock, X or Y.
Yeah.
And then it goes, do you want me to change this price and drop it down to X margin so that you can then clear the stock through?
Yeah.
You'd be
powerful.
You'd be like, crack on, because that's the shit I don't like doing.
Yeah, that's the stuff I don't even want to know about.
Just
do it.
Yeah, just fix the issues.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be in the future where it'll come to you. It'll probably I reckon in the future you'll either have a chip
Yeah.
or you'll have an earpiece
Mhm.
that it'll just go, Matt, just a quick update. Have you got 5 minutes?
Yeah.
No, I'm busy. Or, yeah, let's talk. I've been analysing this, and this
Yeah.
within the business the last 24 hours, and I've noticed this is a little bit of an issue. I'd like to propose this as a resolution to fix it. Would you
Yeah.
like me to undertake and send an email to
Yeah.
X person to get that sorted?
Crazy. Yeah, it will happen.
It will happen.
It will
100%.
happen.
So we'll leave you on that little thinking
nugget.
point. We're all going to be replaced.
Yeah.
And next week's episode, we're going to talk about what does that world look like from a business perspective. Speculative conversation, but fascinating. So please make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube if you can, and if you're on Spotify, which they're the two main platforms, you're following us on Spotify, and if you can ding that bell and make sure that you're getting the notifications on YouTube and then Spotify, please leave us a review. We really appreciate it. And comment, call us out, tell Matt, ask Matt why he always wears a hat. Do I have a receding hairline? Who knows? There we are. So see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.